Welcome to another episode of the Life We're Given podcast. This one is pretty special because I have my mom on. My mom and my dad have both been praised for their parenting of me and my sisters, which is amazing and awesome to always hear. But I don't think they've ever been able to really give true insight to how it is parenting us and how that was all the way from being children all the way up to adults. So I'm excited for this episode. We're excited to have you.
I am excited about being here. Thank you,
Yeah.
Brandi, and thank you everyone for listening.
Yes. I think this is gonna be a really cool episode. Just to talk about your childhood. I don't think a lot of people know about you losing your parents early on in your life and how that impacted the way you parented us and just so much time you put into us as your kids. So I think it'll be great for a lot of people that may need that help in different stages of parenting kids. So, yeah.
I'm
You
excited
ready?
about sharing. Yes,
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
ready.
So tell us a little bit about your childhood. Like, how were you as a child growing up?
Okay, as a child, I was raised by older parents, so they were very protective. Um, but they loved their baby. I was the only child for the two of them. They both had been married previously and had children for their first marriages. So all my nieces and nephews were older than me, much older than me. But that was cool. I enjoyed it. I grew up with some of my nieces and nephews. I have a few that are younger than me, but my sister has 7 children, and then I have a brother that had 2, and then my other brother on my dad's side had 4 boys, and my sister on my dad's side had 2 boys. So, um, even to this day, I feel that I'm, close to them. I grew up with more of with my sister's children. So I was kind of like I was an aunt, but I was kind of like a sister to them. My dad and mom, they owned a nightclub, so we were always on the road, but we were down there a lot. I played a lot. I had horses. I would say I was a little spoiled, but my parents passed away early on. I was 15 when my dad passed away, and I was 18 when my mom passed away.
So how was that growing up with your parents?
With them being older, they were sometimes overly protective, but, um, I always hung around older people more than children or more than people my age. Um, I was close to my niece Jackie. She was like my sister growing up. We spent a lot of time together. She was at our house a lot. I think growing up, I was a happy kid. My father was a chiropractor, but I didn't realize that we didn't have a lot. I always felt that we always had what we needed. I had fun, but I always felt that there was more to life.
Mhm.
I always wanted more. I felt that I felt that where I grew up wasn't where I was supposed to be. I know that's crazy. I felt that I was supposed to be somewhere else. And I don't know if that was something I told myself to to live.
What were your aspirations
And
as a child? What did you want to become?
I wanted to be an airline stewardess. I went
I
to
did not
be
know that.
I did. That was
Well,
what I
that
was
was the
gonna do.
thing then though, right? Like
It was. It was
mhm.
that or a nurse or
Mhm.
but that was the thing.
Yeah.
And it's all I mean, I really talked about that a lot. And probably because my parents flew, we went out of town often.
One fun fact you told us about your parents, our grandparents, is that they marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
They did.
in Selma, right?
So, my dad had a relationship with the gentleman who was friends with Dr. Martin Luther King, and my dad whenever they did marches or whatever, my father went. My mother would go, but one of the things that I loved about my dad and mom was my dad never wanted my mother to work. She was a
Mm.
stay-at-home mom. Um she worked with him at his office, but other than that and she would help him with the, stores and offices that he had in the nightclub, but she never worked outside of her home. But she was just, you know, she was one of the ones who taught me a lot about Dr. Martin Luther King. So that's how I learned a lot of his speeches. I watched them with my parents. I remember my parents telling me stories about him and telling me stories about racism.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about that. Now, I'm going to say that growing up, my father, being a chiropractor, many of
Mhm.
his patients were white.
Wow.
And my brother was married to a white lady, but he lived in Pasadena, California when I was young. So I got to visit them, but it was different when they would come visit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
felt the tension.
Yeah, California was totally different
Mhm.
than Alabama or Southern states at that time.
Yes.
Yeah. So going back to your childhood, when you first recognized or noticed that you were the only child from your 2 parents, how was that feeling? Or do you remember when that first kind of hit you?
It didn't hit me until they were deceased.
Really?
No, it didn't hit me. Growing up, I think I had so much love from my parents and my siblings to the best of their ability. Now, I will say, I have to tell this story. One of my sisters and my brother were a little angry or jealous because my mom left their father and
Mhm.
married my father. So I
Mhm.
was caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there was so much love from my parents. Seriously, they were one of a kind parents. They were different. They were different in the neighborhood.
In what way? How were they different?
There were guys that were gay in the neighborhood, but they visited my parents.
Mhm.
No, my parents turned no one away.
They
They
accepted
loved people.
everybody.
They
Yeah.
did, and I mean, if you were hungry, they were gonna feed you.
Yeah.
If you needed a car to drive, they were gonna give you the keys to their car. Um, my dad loved Cadillacs, and that's pretty much all he ever owned,
Mhm.
and would give the keys to anybody that needed a car, and he always had more than enough to bless others.
Yeah, that's so awesome though, because that being a chiropractor at that time as a Black male was
Was a lot.
probably and in the South, was probably not normal
It wasn't.
at that time.
I rode a lot with him to other cities, within Alabama, but I remember us going to the dog track a lot back then.
Yeah.
But he would visit people who were sick and take them medicine.
And you're very
Um
giving like that as well. Do you think you got that from your dad or because
Oh,
you
for sure.
watched both of your parents do that growing up?
Yes, for sure.
Wow.
There were generational things that I didn't know, I didn't understand until
Mhm.
I became grown that went on. Every weekend, we had a ton of people at our home, but sometimes you can be too giving and too nice to where it becomes detrimental
I
to you
agree.
or
Yeah.
to your life, and that is where it hit me in adulthood.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that although I was a kid and I was having fun, I'd never really become a kid until after I had children.
After your parents passed away, tell me about that phase of your life before having kids.
After that, um, my father passed away, had a heart attack while we were in Michigan. And then um, that's when my mom and I moved back and I
Mhm.
finished high school. And then my mom passed away my senior year following my graduation. And that I was angry. I was confused. I grew up in church. I was at church every Sunday. But how do you take my parents from me when you say you love me? That I didn't understand, but I look back, I understand that now, but then I didn't. But I will say to you that for me, I've learned that God always puts people in your life. He
Yeah.
always gives you what you need, and Then he gave me your dad's mom
Yeah, grandma.
and dad. So my dad passed away before mom. I was 15. Actually, it was
Uh-huh.
6 days before my 16th birthday, and then my mom passed away when I was 18.
Okay.
Mm, and I married your daddy at 20.
Oh my gosh.
I
I
was
didn't
so
even know
young.
myself at 20.
I didn't either.
Times are different,
But
but
but it was funny because your dad wanted to live together, and I was like, "Nope, my mama would hate it if I did that."
good for you.
So, no, I can't do that. And that
And
was
grandma would
and
have hated
grandma
it
was yeah, she
too.
that was
You do talk about that special bond that you had with
very special.
grandma as well. How was that, like, her coming into your life, and what void did she fill?
Well, your dad and I met before my mom passed away. We started
Okay.
talking. I mean, we knew of one another because we went to the same high school. He's 4 years older than me,
Yeah.
but I knew of him, growing up. Seeing him, I always thought he was out of my league because he was so much older than me, and meeting grandma, the void that it is really weird, Brandy. It was as if she just stepped in the shoes that my mom was wearing, and she picked up right where my mom left off. If I had I it was I always say that. I don't know how else to say it. I love chicken and dumplings. Your daddy didn't like them as much as I did, and she loved them. So she cooked some of the things that I loved, and she would always tell me, she said, "I'm gonna fan you up." She said, "I know you're gonna be big because you got big hands." She would always tell me that. But the more I ate, but she was like, finally she gave up, but we kept eating. But she just was a sweet lady. We related somehow. And I'll say this, even when I was wrong, she loved me.
Yeah.
And she even when I was wrong toward her son, she loved me.
So she was more of a family, or she was more of a mother to you,
She
it
was.
sounds like.
She was.
She really filled that void for you.
When I say between 18 and 22 was like 20 years to me, it was.
Why?
It was it wasn't like it was just 2 or 3 years, right? Or 4 years. It was, and I say 22 'cause I had Ashley at 22, but I was going through so many emotions, trauma. I didn't know that I had trauma,
Mhm.
but trauma from losing my parents, trauma from having so many people around us every weekend, and then when my parents died, there was no one.
It was quiet.
There was none of these people who loved my parents and all these people that my parents fed and clothed,
Wow.
they were nowhere.
How did that feel?
Oh my gosh, huge rejection, huge.
Yeah.
When I think about it, it was like a whirlwind, but in slow motion,
Yeah. It was
you
like the
know?
world was quiet. And you
Mhm.
always say a lot, whenever we know somebody that has had a family member pass away, you always say, "I'm gonna check on you when
After
everybody else
everyone's
goes
gone,
away." You always say that. And
'cause I know what it feels like to not have had that.
yeah. What would you say to somebody out there that may be in that position right now that is just feeling alone and lonely and not
But
knowing what to do next?
believe this one thing, when God says that he never leaves you nor forsakes you, he doesn't. You
Mm,
may feel that he's not there, but he is. I know that during that time, even when I didn't know he was there or I didn't know what he was doing, he was continuously loving me. He was continuously talking to me. He was continuously providing for me. Um, I
you find out you're pregnant with Ashley
at 22.
at 22, your first child. How was that feeling? Were you ready? Were you nervous? Were you
No,
excited?
I wasn't ready for marriage. I didn't want to do it the wrong way.
Yeah.
I didn't want. And when I say the enemy never stopped, because some things God provides or allows, I do believe he allows things.
Mhm.
And I'll say this, everything I've gone through has made me a better woman today.
Yeah.
Everything, every bit of it. Getting married, getting a job. Oh man, in the same year actually was pretty awesome. because really I saw a sign outside of a building that said they were taking a typing test. My dad had taught me how to type. I went in and I'll never forget when I walked in there, told them why I was there. And this lady named Mildred Clayton was there. And when I finished the typing test, she said, "Oh my God, like no one has passed a typing test like this. And she said, when do you want to start?" I filled out paperwork. I started the job the next week. And that was February of that year. And I got married in October of that year.
How did you prepare for your first child at 22 years old? Because you're such a great mother, and a lot of people talk about your parenting style. Where did that derive from with your first child?
I wanted to be a mom. I was protective. I was. I was very protective of each one of you. Um, but grandma helped me a lot. She helped me a lot. And I went through stages of anger and bitterness because I was mad because my mother couldn't be
Yeah,
there.
it's
I really
understandable.
was. And of course, I've told God 50,000 times, like, "I'm sorry." But I was really angry, and I didn't understand how or why, um, but I enjoyed being pregnant. I had some amazing coworkers. There were people who I watched parent their children, grandma, my mama, my sister, who had seen with children. I looked at the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I had to take out the good, and I knew that I wanted so much to be a mom that I would have done whatever I needed to do. So, I
Mhm.
will say that I prepared day by day. Ashley, when she was born, had jaundice, and she stayed at the hospital for several weeks, which was hard for a mother who is trying to breastfeed and wanting to be there with her child. Her being in the hospital helped me love her more. It helped me want to parent so much because she was in the hands of nurses, people that I had to
Yeah,
trust with my child,
yeah,
and doctors. And all I knew was when I get her home, I was not going to ever let her out of my sight. And I remember saying that from
yeah,
time and time again. But um, she did well. Um, she came home and it was fun.
yeah.
It
So
was
then 3
fun.
years later, you had me,
Yes.
and then 3 years after me,
Later,
you had
Courtney.
Courtney.
Mhm.
How old were you when you had Courtney?
It's 28.
Okay, so you're 28 years old. In between that time of having Ashley all the way to Courtney, tell us a little bit about how that was. Were you developing and learning more as a parent, or do you feel like you and Daddy kind of were starting to understand parenting and what you guys had desired for us as a family?
We were developing.
Mhm.
We were developing. I will say not arrived, but we were developing.
Yeah.
But we had help from grandma, we had help from papa, we had help from your aunts and uncles, and we traveled a lot. We had fun, we enjoyed it. Within those years, we even separated for a minute. We were
Mhm.
we went through hard times. Financially, it was different, but it didn't matter. We knew we wanted the best for you, for each of
Yeah.
you, and we wanted to give you something we didn't have. Now that is the one thing that your dad and I always agreed on.
And that's something that I'd say was shown to us as your kids was you guys wanting better for us than you guys had.
When we moved, it was because we were like, "Okay, we want them at a better school." We put Ashley in a private school. Daddy didn't like where she was, and he was like, "They're not teaching her anything," and so we drove around the summer between her 1st and 2nd grade year, and we went to just different schools, and we visited, and we met principals.
So people that don't know, they moved us to a very nice school system and one of the top school systems in that city, um, which showed your desire too for us and wanting more for us. I'll say on our side, like, we once we got there, I appreciated that for sure because we grew up with other races as well, which I didn't know how much it affected me in a positive way. Of course, it was hard in the beginning, but once I got older and, like, going to college, I appreciated growing up with other races and not just my race because I understood how to communicate with other people and just being comfortable around another race, and knowing who I am even when they're in my presence and not feeling less than. So I would say I definitely appreciated being surrounded by other races, not just white, there were Hispanics, there were,
They were from all
um,
over the world.
all over,
They
and I
were.
love that because I became very open to other people and, the ways they grew up and because we were all raised differently, but I know when I walk into a room, I feel confident in who I am, and just because somebody is a different race than me doesn't, in my mind, make them any less or better than me. So I
Yes.
will say I definitely think going to a school of that caliber really helped in a lot of ways, of course, educationally, but even outside of that, just learning how to be in this world. I think that is something that I appreciate and something I would want for my kids too. So I mean, I'm thankful to
I
have
love
had
that.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
I'll add to that by saying, even when you got to those schools, when you were there, we pushed you.
Mhm.
We pushed you
Yeah.
to be a part.
Mhm.
Be a part of band, cheerleading. Ashley loved cheerleading. I mean, we pushed you to do pageants, and so much so I was like, "Oh my god, what have we done?" But Courtney was like, "I don't want anything to do with a pageant." Ashley wanted nothing to do with band, but and none of you could do show choir because you all said, "We can't
We can't
sing."
sing,
Although
no.
Courtney can a little, but we we wanted you to be involved in not just one sport, not just one thing, because try different things.
Mhm.
From a parent standpoint, there are many kids who are within schools that have different races, but they never feel apart.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
true.
that. In this world, there's no one race world.
No.
It's not. I can't tell you where it came from other than wanting more for our children.
My question as far as parenting is and I've heard you explain this to people when they ask you for advice, and you've always said, "I have 3 different kids. They're all different." You explain as night, noon, and day is how we are. That's exactly what you say. Like you said, we were very involved. Yes, you would introduce us to stuff, but just because my older sister Ashley did something didn't mean that you were going to force and I had to do that too. And same goes for my younger sister Courtney. So explain more about that and how you really help people on that side of parenting when they have more than one kid.
Which brings me to this. I realized that God had granted me the opportunity to raise 3 girls. You all belong to him before me.
Yeah.
So I had to raise you or make sure that I was taking care of his children.
Mm,
I've I've always felt that way. And I knew that he gave each of you gifts, talents, and abilities that the other one didn't have. I always tell you, when one of you is weak, the other one's strong.
mhm,
I've always told you you're my threefold cord. I've always
mhm,
said, if your sister in need, you better run to them,
mhm.
because that's what life is about. I feel that parenting your children, we talk about friendships, but I don't believe you can be a friend until you've learned how to be a sibling to the children, to the people that God has given you. Many people don't have siblings, fine. To me, family is there to teach you how to live in this world.
And from what I'm getting, you're saying also, in addition to that, is family teaches you how to love a sibling despite what may be going on in order to be a parent as well, and a
Mhm.
good parent.
Because your children gonna be different. They're
Never
gonna
thought about it that way. Yeah.
they're gonna have gifts and things that you don't even have. I mean,
Mhm.
you don't know. And I knew that because I always purposed for you to be better than me.
Mhm.
I don't ever want you to go through the things I've gone through in a
Yeah.
negative way. I broke generational curses because I may have gone through them, but they will not go further than me.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You really don't. But I feel like I grew up with y'all too. I'll say that. Um, I
Yeah,
think
you
that
do say that. You think you
I
grew up
do.
with us.
I parented you, but I had fun with you.
Mhm.
We really enjoyed one another despite things we went through. And this is what I really want to say about parenting. They did not give us a booklet or a pamphlet or instructions on how to be a parent. I mean, you
Mhm.
can read books all day long. I've read them, I've seen them, but nothing is like asking God how to parent the children that He has given to you. I think college. I look because so many people. I went to I went to this one college, so the whole family's gonna go there.
Yeah.
I We all visited different colleges. Ashley is amazingly gifted and talented artist. She
Yeah.
just is. She is our artsy girl.
Mhm.
She didn't get it from me. I would say she got it more from your dad, to be
Yeah, I could
honest.
see that.
And grandma helped her do things like teach her how to sew or how to do stuff, and she fell in love with it. And now she's a designer at Spanx. That's pretty
Mhm.
awesome. But she always had this art world, and she was always in her own world designing,
Yep.
creating, doing stuff, and for y'all, honestly, doing projects for y'all that y'all got A's on at school. So, but she just that was her. She couldn't go to South Alabama or, she had choices of Auburn or Mississippi State at that point, the ones
Yeah.
that and so we went to the colleges that was gonna feed into her gifts. And I think when it came to that, as you grew older, I let you guys lead me to where you were supposed to be.
Yeah, I think that's something that I think shocks people when you tell them, you know, you'll say, "Well, Ashley went to Mississippi State," and they're like, "Oh, your other 2 kids did too?" And you're like, "No, we all went somewhere different because of, like you said, we're all different and we all have different interests." And so that
Exactly.
I think is great. I guess we think differently in that way of go where you're supposed to go and not
Mhm.
go somewhere because, maybe a parent is more diehard in one school and that's why you go there, but really go because that's where you're meant to go.
College prepares you for life.
Yeah, it does.
It does. It's a part of the stepping stone. I mean, for those that go to college, it's not for everyone. That's not
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But for those that go, that's a part of their life. It's a part of history. And um, I mean, Courtney, she went to South Alabama. She met her husband. You know, Daddy wanted her to be a doctor, and he was gung ho about it. And she fell in love with children. We didn't take that away from her. We were like, okay, if that's where you feel that God's leading you, just make sure you're doing it because God's leading you and you feel that passion. And she's been awesome with it.
Yeah.
You at North Alabama, look at the doors God opened for you there. Um, do I believe you would have gotten that somewhere else? No. It was meant
Yeah.
for you to be where you were. Even when you got sick during college, those people were amazing. I
Mhm.
mean, they were like a whole 'nother family. So was our city.
Yeah.
It takes a village to raise children.
Mhm.
It really does. And I'm grateful for the village I've had.
I probably would be the same way with my kid, especially my first, is being very protective. But when did you start to understand and kind of course, be a mama bear and stay protective, but also release some of that so that they could grow and flourish and you could build your village that helped us as well? Like, where did that start?
And I'll say the village came to me. I was never looking for a village, if I had
Yeah.
to be honest. The village started it really at birth, which was grandma, papa, T. Diane, T.
Yeah.
Chris, Bubba, Gloria. I mean, it was they started, they
Mhm.
were we were a huge part. It was crazy because Marcus was born. A year later, Ashley was born. A year later, Breezy was born. And then you came
2
3
years.
years later, and then Courtney.
Mm.
And so we just did Disney together. We did everything. We
Yeah.
really did. And it was fun. And all of us, every one of us, went through something. I mean,
Mhm.
families dynamics, family this, like, job stuff, separations. I mean, it was crazy, but we never let up off of raising our children.
You said the village came to you. How? In what way did that village come to you?
There were people who cared. There were people who cared about me at work. Um, there were people who were key friendships. The Bible says there's a friend that sticketh closer than a brother, not take the place of,
Mhm.
sticketh closer than. And
Yeah.
I say that because sometimes people get too involved in people's lives and they
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But um there were friends that God put in my life that were parents that taught me a lot. Renita, I can
Mhm.
name them. Cindy, back then, and we were all learning together. To be honest with you, Renita, she had a son that was older, but we were all learning together, but we loved our children.
Yeah.
And that's when I say a village. And I would say to the young people today, if I could add a little bit, I've seen lately where grandmothers are raising their grandchildren to the point where not not necessarily helping. I'm not talking about that or where they need to. I'm just saying where they're the only key person in their lives.
Taking the
They're the
place of the
only ones.
parents.
Mhm. You are never too young to learn how to be a mother.
Mm.
I it once Because once you become a mother, I don't care what age you are, it starts there,
Yeah.
and it will grow you up.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It will.
did being a mother grow you up quick?
Oh, man, yeah. It did. It did, and that was really for me, I would almost say from birth, I was always having to grow up
Yeah.
when I didn't want to. There were many different instances, even when my father passed away, my mother became an alcoholic,
Mhm.
and I was having to grow up to take
Quickly.
care of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was honored to do it and would do it again if I had to.
So when you became a mom, you grew up very quickly.
Mhm.
Now,
But
we're now
we're still a kid at
yeah,
heart.
but we're
I
still
really
yeah,
was.
yeah. We're all adults now. So
Uh,
you're now at the stage of parenting adult kids.
mhm.
Tell me the difference between parenting us when we were younger and parenting us as adults.
There's a saying where it says they're on your heart when they get older, but they're on your pocket or mind when they're little. It's easier when you're younger because you have more control.
Mhm.
And no, it seems easier when they're little because you have more control. But what I would say is every age and every stage you guys got, we kind of release the reins.
Mm.
We would release the reins.
Mhm.
And when we dropped you off at college, we released the reins, and I laughed because each
We
one
l
of y'all had
Yeah,
it.
we laugh because we all were traumatized when we got dropped off. I think we and
I'm
I
ready to
say
go.
not traumatized, I'm just being very
Yeah.
dramatic, but I'll say my experience because everybody laughs at mine is it hits you when your
You
parents
watch them
moved you
drive
in.
off.
Yeah, and for me, it hit me when my parents were, like, saying bye, like, "You were about to wake up and be on your own starting tomorrow," and my parents were literally driving away in the van, and Courtney was with them, and she's watching out the back seat laughing as I'm crying, and they turned back around and
And
said
stay
bye
for another
again.
2 hours.
But it was
But yeah.
for me, it hit me that I am on my own, like, I was ready to leave, me, I was ready to leave, but
Uh-huh.
I that was just me being very young and immature, looking back on it, of course, but when it really actually happened, I was not ready, and it
Yeah.
hit me of, I have to be an adult now, and like you said, I have to grow up. Um, and I'll say during that time, yeah, I feel like college time, I mean, we've always had a close relationship, but I think college time is when, for me, I felt like our relationship changed to where I needed more support. I will say in college, I think I became very thankful of my family, my parents, because I met so many other kids who were saying, "My mom said 18 years old, you're out of this house and you've got to figure it out." That story happened, and I heard it too many times to count. And so for me, it made me thankful for my family. The life that you guys had really built for us up until that moment. You don't, of course, you're privileged. They've given it to you, so you don't know what it looks like on the other side until until a moment like that. And that's where I became very, very thankful just for my sisters, my parents, but I also felt like our relationship became very much so where I would call you because I needed help. I needed support. Okay, how do I deal with this situation? Okay, this is where I am. I was starting to learn at that time different life adult issues, but needed support on how to handle that. But I was also open to that too, I must say, on as a child and on the kid side. But what was your take on me in college? Like, do you think that's true that our relationship switched in a
Oh,
great way, but in that way?
for sure. For each one of you.
Yeah.
And that's where I was going when you talked about parenting adults. We released the reins each step you took, and
Yeah.
we trusted that we had taught you
Yeah.
and that you would make wise decisions.
And that was definitely shown. Yeah.
Man, you know, gosh, I've had people call me and say, you know, Ashley did this in college, and I'm just using her as an example. Courtney did this, or Courtney was doing this, and I check, but we visited y'all in college a lot, each
Yeah.
one of you. When you had an event, we were there.
Mhm.
You and Brandi, I mean, you and Courtney were both in Phi Muse. You were both in a sorority. You cannot parent your children based off of what your friends or everybody else does.
Mm.
You cannot. I didn't do that, and it wasn't a form of rebellion or anything. It was wherever God told me to do with you is what I had to do.
Mhm.
Now, I would say yes, each one of you, we had an incredible relationship with. You guys were very active in your sororities,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
very active at college.
But I think that stemmed from you guys pushing us, and not really pushing in a bad way, but helping us to explore different options and try
Mhm.
different things that we may have turned a blind eye to out of fear, if we didn't have that. So I think in a way it was instilled in us also to just try to do something different and to not be the norm for sure.
So, those opportunities were there, and the one thing about parenting children and adult kids, I will say this: we're your protectors.
Mm.
We're your providers, but we're your protectors. And I've literally told people,
I know what you're about to say.
"I'll fight for you. I'm gonna just be kind."
Yeah.
But I really we're your protectors, and
Mhm.
I may mess up my own life. I may mess up, but let me deal with that. Don't
Mhm.
let me handle my own
Mm.
stuff. There are many things we do on purpose to protect our children. And from a parenting standpoint, we're not perfect. There
Yeah.
is not one. I,
Yeah.
if there is one, I want them to call you after this is aired, and I want to meet them. There's not one perfect parent.
Yeah.
There's not one perfect mother. There's not one perfect father. We all mess up, man. God, whew, and I have messed up in my
Mhm.
life. Been down in the dirty, gritty, deep. depth of life, and God always got me up, and He always brought us back. He's a restorer, He's a rewarder, He cares, He's a God of forgiveness, He's a God of forgetfulness. He is our Father, and He is our ultimate. That's who we should look to. We
Yeah.
should pattern ourselves as parents from Him.
Yeah. You know what just hit me though? You didn't have that chance to have your parents parent you when
I
you
did it.
became an adult.
I did it. And I didn't really have them parent me. No, this sounds crazy. Even
Yeah.
growing up when
Yeah.
I was younger, I didn't.
Yeah.
My mother was parenting everybody else.
Mhm. I mean, you've been an amazing parent to us, but on in addition to you parenting us, you've also parented some of our friends. You've also
And I
parented
loved every
other
minute of it.
people. Yes, other people in our lives. Yeah, and I think that's something that we've always known about you. We went to a women's conference not too long ago, and my mom they were asking people to pray for people, and my mom leans over to this girl and just starts praying to her and ministering to her, and I tapped Ashley, I say, "There go mama again, doing what she does best." Like, we've always known that and have always accepted that because that is your gift, is not only or have you
Mhm.
parented us, you've also been there for so many other kids, um, that are our friends or people that we've just known. You definitely have. It's definitely a gift of yours.
And the one thing we need as parents, as children, there's a scripture that talks about when you find someone in sin, we should snatch them up. But it says, "Be careful lest you fall," which means don't let them pull you their way.
Mhm.
But so many believers, in my life, talk it, but don't walk it.
Yeah.
And I promise and vow to just be there for people. Just listen, just hear, because we can
Mhm.
listen and not hear. I want to hear them. You guys help me live.
Mhm.
You teach me. You're the reason I get up and say, I'm worthy of whatever it is God has for me. Even when I've messed up, my oldest daughter looked at me and said, Mama, forget them.
Yep.
When your child can look at you when she knows you've
Mhm.
messed up and tell you, forget them, we
Yep.
got you.
Yep.
Many children would have turned on their parents.
Yeah.
We FaceTimed early today, all of us, with Sterling and Courtney. And Courtney is truly the babe. When I say she is the babe,
Truly. Truly.
she
And we
lives up
treat
to it.
her as
And let
such.
me do
We're a
some of it
part
is
of
our
it too.
fault,
Yes.
but even Alex treats her that way.
Yes.
But but I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And the one thing I ask God is, I want your daddy to walk you and Ashley down that aisle.
Yeah.
I do. You know why? Because it's your desire. I shared with the lady today. She was saying, "Tell your children, just hold on. Don't worry about getting married." I said, "If that's their desire, why would?" I said, "Don't. That's not what I teach them. I ask God to bless you because you're deserving of it. Because you don't
Mhm.
settle.
Mm.
You don't
Yeah.
settle."
It's not easy, but it's very true. To touch on
Mhm.
that, you knowing that it's our desire, no matter how you may personally feel about it, I think you and daddy have definitely doing a great job of supporting us and honestly have
Respect you.
respecting us and having hope when we don't have the hope when we're like, "All right, maybe this isn't it," and y'all like, "No, no," like, you guys have hope when we have lost it at times, and it for me, I'll say it has definitely helped me to keep moving forward and having faith in that, but that's I think one thing that is unique about you all is how much you guys truly do support us. Um, like, where did that come from? Because, like I said, it literally just hit me that this is you didn't have your parents to mimic off of. You had grandma and papa, but to help you parent adult kids or for you to be parented through that, you you and daddy really didn't have all of that. So, like, what drives you there? That's so crazy.
One thing we did, though, we talked about it.
Talked about what?
We talked about parenting. The one thing about me and your dad, we both want so much out of life.
Yeah,
Like, we do. We man, if you could get inside our minds, you would be
yeah,
like, "Dang." And, he and I, we're like, "Will we ever really arrive where we really wanna go?" So, but we want so much out of life that we learn to share with y'all that, but each one of you, like, you think we want a lot out of life. Each one of you have I mean, I looked at Alex one day and I was like, "Lord, bless him for his patience." Because
yeah,
Courtney's like, "I wanna do this, I wanna do that, I wanna go
yeah,
to this, I wanna go there," and I see it, and I'm very grateful for the lives that we've given you, that we've talked to you about. We talk about it. You and I, we 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 know how to say we're sorry when we mess up. We know how
yeah,
to apologize. We know how to move on.
yeah.
We know how to move on past
Not
stuff.
hold on to the past.
God
Yeah.
Almighty. Yes. I mean, there are people mad at people who are dead in the grave and they're still mad at them. We know how to forgive.
Mhm.
We know how to forget.
Yeah,
One of the things that Daddy and I did was I've looked at him and he's looked at me and said, "That ain't even your nature."
yeah.
And that I always say,
You guys were growing up too,
"You gotta
yeah.
be friends." Yeah,
Yeah.
you we gained and earned a friendship.
Mhm. How?
And,
I think it's a lot of
mm,
people's question.
through the good, the bad, and the ugly, we
Yeah.
really did. We learned how to take one another back. But I think it was not just our love for one another, it was our love for God. And people are quick to say, "How can you love God and do that?" Because 'Cause we're human.
Mhm.
'Cause he but guess what? That's why he knew we would. That's why he died
Yeah,
for us.
for
That's why
everybody.
he
Yeah.
hung on that cross and died and shed blood for us. Um, so much I could say, but you guys make me wanna live more and longer and be more vibrant and try to enjoy life and forgive. As parents, to protect your children, you'll walk away from junk. You'll walk away from toxicity because you're you're like, if my children see me doing this, what are they gonna think? So you all make me better. You all have taught us more than we could probably ever teach you.
Mhm.
You really have. And in this family, what goes on in this family stays in this family.
Yeah.
People outside don't have anything to do with it. And we will give you our all. But when you use us to a point where it's time to take a step back, we will.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. We don't pretend to be. We don't nowhere near perfect. But this time to be here and at my age and to be in good health and to know that, my husband's here. I mean, and our girls are here and we've got a grandson and we're ready for whatever is next and whoever comes in. But when you come in here, we're gonna fight for you.
Yeah.
We're gonna protect you. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna get down here and we're gonna play cards and games that
Yeah.
some many times none of us can understand, figure out. But it is then we like forget that game. Let's move on to another.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
understood it.
and then we end up playing Uno for the 950th time. But I'm very grateful for that. I really am. You've seen your parents go through hard times. Gosh almighty, but you've seen the love between us. It
Mhm.
ain't fake.
No.
And it's what has gotten us to where we
Yeah.
are. We
The
have a
love
good time.
and the friendship, though. I've seen
Yeah.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. There's nothing that man didn't know about me or vice versa, and it doesn't matter. We learned the art of forgiveness.
Mhm.
We learned and it's an art. It's an art to it. And it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. And it takes 2. It takes both of you.
Yeah.
So being good parents doesn't even necessarily mean you have to be together. Because many parents, I love it when I hear people say we co-parent so well together. We co-parent so well. And so for that I'm truly grateful for the parenting that we do with our adult children. And with our adult children, we're friends, but I would say that we honor one another. I think when as a mother of an adult child, it gets past the respect and all that. It's a privilege and an honor to parent you as an adult when you call and ask my advice
Yeah. It is different.
or give
Yeah.
my advice. I mean, just this week, you and I have been like, I was like, "Duh, I want you to do this. I want you to do that."
I
And I'm
know.
like,
Yeah.
be quiet,
Yeah.
trust what she's saying. And you told me why. And I said, okay, I respect it.
Yeah.
So watching you guys go and spend time with you have relationships outside of us that are awesome, that are flourishing. That's life. I should never hold you hostage from life.
Yeah.
And many parents hold their kids hostage from living.
Yeah. You definitely go through different phases of parenting, but out of all the phases, where would you say is like you feel like was the most rewarding? Like,
Now,
really?
right now,
Yeah.
parenting adults.
How do you feel as a mom parenting adults? Like, why would you say you feel it's more rewarding now?
We don't post a lot on Facebook or because I believe in the scripture that says don't cast your pearls before swines. And if I'm believing God for some things, I don't always share it.
Mhm.
Because I believe there's a sacred place for things in life. And so we don't share as a family a ton of stuff. We just don't. But if people only knew what y'all are doing right now, it's
That's why it's the
amazing.
most rewarding, yeah.
It's the most rewarding because
Yeah.
we're literally sitting here watching you do some amazing things. Each one of you.
Yeah.
The other day I almost posted a picture of each one of you and said, "Thank you, God." Just that's all I could say. Because you're really doing some stuff behind the scenes. They see the little, but you're doing some pretty amazing things, making a difference in people's lives, choosing to do things the right way. Even when you've seen your parents do things the wrong way, you're like, okay, you know, not being angry with us, but giving us grace.
Mm,
Gave us
yeah.
grace. You gave us grace. And,
Yeah. I
people
think
may think they
that's
know your story, but they don't.
no, no, and,
They don't.
yeah, I mean, it's cool to hear you say that it's the most rewarding now. I say on having you
Yes.
as parents now that I'm an adult, um, I think for me, it's the best too. I mean, also when you're a preteen and everything, your hormones, everything is crazy and out of whack, but I think for me, the older I get, the more I appreciate having my parents around, and I say all the time, like, because we talk probably too many times on the phone in a day, but I always answer because there'll be a day where I wish that phone call would come through. So when people always say, "Man, you and your mom talk all the time," I don't care. Like, I will always answer because I know there will be a day where I'm gonna miss this. So I soak it all in, even with daddy. Like, we have our bond and our own relationship, and he'll be on the podcast later. But like me and my daddy, our bond is like we can sit and eat chips and salsa and talk, and we will talk crap. Like me and my dad will.
Y'all debate.
We will
You
debate,
debate.
and we're not mad at each other. We have a
No, not
great
in a
debate.
bad way.
But if
Yeah.
somebody else tries to step in our
But if
debate,
we
we're
come
like,
in
"Hold
yeah,
on." We gang up against that person.
and we were on
Yeah,
it's
we
like
were trying to help. We're
somehow
like
y'all are on 2 totally different ends of this,
and
but
then we
when
become
somebody
on
else
the
comes
same.
in, you're together, we like, "Get it."
Yeah. Me and my dad have a very cool and unique relationship, but I think it's because we're a lot alike as well,
Sure.
which is very beautiful, and I'm very thankful for our relationship. I'm more like my dad than my mom,
Yeah.
personality-wise, I will say that. I'm a little feisty too.
More
But I
tea.
would say the parenting style, just watching you all as our parents, and really it just hitting me, while we're talking of both of you have not had your parents parenting you at these ages, and just to see, honestly, an amazing job you guys have done with parenting, with helping us learning how to listen to you as well. I think on the side of being a child, like you said, this is y'all's first time parenting as well. You're going to make mistakes. Um, but it is a two-way relationship. So while you are the parent, it is also the child's time to grow up and to understand that and to give their parents grace and love and respect as well. You're both growing in life
Mhm.
together. Yeah.
We talk about grace, but the key is really agape love and
Mhm.
not being manipulative or controlling. We've
Yeah.
never tried to control you.
Yeah.
We've ne I don't because I always say, "Who do people think they
Yeah.
are
It is my pet
to
peeve. I
try to
tell people that.
control another person?"
Yeah.
Like, even God doesn't He created us,
Mm-mm.
and He doesn't control us.
Mm-mm.
He gives us free will. We've never tried to control you.
Yeah. And
Never.
I appreciate that. That is my biggest pet peeve with any type of relationship is control, because I just think people are free to be. We're all
Mhm.
growing differently, and that is within our relationship or our family dynamic as well, is not controlling each other, only wanting the best and speaking up when we need to. So I'd say as parents, like, I of course I want a kid one day, and when I get there, I think I aspire to be the type of parent that you and daddy have been. I
Wow.
mean, you've made mistakes, but I mean, even despite that, you've instilled in us core lessons and things that we need in order to make it in this life, and like not holding on to the past, loving despite of growing, um confrontation, not being
Yeah.
jealous,
Yeah.
going to therapy when you need it, like,
Yes.
getting the
Yeah.
help when you need it.
Yep.
Um, you guys have really instilled in us and pushed us always outside of that comfortable zone in order for us to be better, yeah.
And it's crazy because Courtney is now a counselor, you know,
She's a counselor
and
and a mom now,
and a
so
mom,
she's starting on her own journey.
and that's wow, amazing within itself.
Mhm, it's a full circle moment for sure. I wanna ask before we end, I always like to leave listeners with something they can take from your story and from parenting and apply it to their own life. So what would you tell somebody that is parenting any age and that's just really having a tough time, navigating that relationship with their child?
First, I would say come to grips with yourself. Like, I had to learn to ask me maybe what I was doing wrong, or was I saying things the wrong way, or just kind of first, I guess, kind of looking at myself. Um, and then, and I've asked you guys this many in life. What can I do to help you?
Mhm.
What is it that I can do? Now, when they're younger, they don't always know the answer to that. But when they become adults, they can tell you.
Yeah.
And many times they may tell you it's not y'all have told me this many times too. It's not about you.
Mhm.
It's really not. And I remember the first time one of you said that to me, I was floored. I was like, "What do you mean it ain't about me? It is about me." So, it's really not. It's about raising individuals to become adults. And so for me, I would say pray, um, spend time with, give room to grow. At times, you're going to need to give them their own personal space. I mean, all of these things are a big part of raising a child into adulthood.
Yeah.
There's a time of discipline, there's a time of crying, there's a time of weeping, there's a time of sorrow. There are gonna be different times in their lives, and be there for them. Be there, show up, be there even when they're angry with you, just be there.
Mhm.
Um, I think that those are the keys, but so it's more than just about praying. Um, but pray for them, teach them the word, show them the Bible. I mean, we've done all of that. We fast together
Mhm.
as a family. We do. And so do that. Um, empower them. Make sure they understand that they are no different than anyone else and they can have just as much as anyone else. So empower them. There's so much more to life than one thing. God gives us different gifts. Each one of us can do multiple things. Bring out the talents and show them, hey, you can try this for a while. You talked about change on your
Mhm.
last podcast.
Yeah.
Very good episode. I would ask people to listen because change in life is so important.
Mhm. It happens whether we want it to or not. So it's really about all about how we adapt
Yeah.
and accept it. Yeah.
So that would be my takeaway. That
Well,
would be
thank you.
my
I
thing.
think this is a good episode. And I hope it helps a lot of people out there that
I do too.
um, need to understand how you became a parent. And I think that is very much as much important as you parenting is what led you up into that. And I think your
Mm,
background and losing your parents at a young age in a way impacted the way you parented as well and what you wanted for us. You wanted more for us than what you had and how you really truly stuck to that. Um, yeah. So I think
I
it's a
do.
really good one. Thank you for
Yeah.
being on.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to the next time.
Right? So we'll send this episode out, but if you guys have any questions or concerns, or maybe
Yes.
you have any questions on parenting that you want to ask my mom, and I'll have my dad on later as well, just send your questions to hello@brandilewis.com. That's Brandy with an I. So hello at BRANDILEWIS.com. Thank you again, Mom.
Thank you. Enjoy. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really do. Thank you. Love you.
Love you.